Hi guys, lesson 3 on budgeting. Let's take a look at it. So budgeting is very, very important for all of our lives. No matter where we are in our lives, we're going to be budgeting for something. Be it something that you want to buy, something you want to help buy, or major purchase, small purchase. Budgeting is very important, especially as we approach adulthood and we take on more financial responsibilities, and we need to understand what we're going to do with those paychecks. So, in the last lesson, we kind of talked about paychecks and how they work and what we bring home at the end of the day. And now we're going to try to budget with it. So, you begin with a minds on activity, and then you go right into thinking about creating a budget. So, creating short and long term goals, calculating your income, estimating your expenses, determining your savings, calculating your disposable income, and reviewing and revising your budget. So, what I did, instead of going through each of those and just reading the definitions, I decided to take this part of the first video that you're watching about simple budgets. So, this is Mr. Chen's budget for March 2015 that he put together. And I stopped it here for us to kind of take a look at so I can break down each section for you. So our short-term goals for Mr. Chen here is clothes for school, birthday presents, Christmas. So short-term goals are usually smaller and they're usually obtainable quicker. So this could be something like you want to attain purchase tickets to a concert in a few months. You want to go to the movie theaters and have dinner out with your best friend. You want to take your mother or father on an outing, et cetera, et cetera. So short-term goals. You want to buy a PS5, you want to buy a cell phone, you want to buy an iPad, et cetera, et cetera. All short-term goals. Long-term goals are bigger. So those would be like purchasing a car. And in Mr. Chen's example, retirement or education for his children. So these are all long-term goals in the future. So Mr. Chen makes $1,600 biweekly pay, and his total income is $3,200 a month. And it looks like this is the money that he's bringing home with him at the end of the day. So these has already have been accounted for the expenses of the actual paycheck that you learned about in lesson 2. Okay, so this is what he's working for in working with money wise for 1 month period. So the expenses have two categories. There's the fixed expenses and there's the variable expenses. So fixed expenses are expenses that you know are exactly the same and fixed. It's almost like boom, like permanently etched into your budget. Okay. Things like mortgage, rent, car insurance, life insurance, health insurance, internet, all of those are examples of fixed expenses, okay? Things that don't change for the majority of the part. Now, if Mr. Chen actually moved to a new house where there was different rent, then that would change. But for the majority of the time, fixed expenses do not change month to month. And then Mr. Chen has his variable expenses. So variable expenses means it could change. It's not the same every month. So you need to estimate for those, but they may not always be what is going to come out that month. So for example, food, gasoline, entertainment, cell phone, for the example of the food. Mr. Chen thinks he's going to spend $500 a month for food, but he may only spend $400 or he may spend $550. So it's an estimate that you think you're going to spend in that month, considering your monthly income. Okay. For entertainment, $240. Maybe Mr. Chen ended up not going to the movies to see whatever's coming out. So he actually only spent 180 at the end of the month. So those can change. So that's basically the difference. Fixed, we know it's the same every single month. Variable, it could change. Okay. So this is what he's putting away for some of his goals and his savings. So clothes, which kind of goes with his clothes for school short-term goal. Presents, which he, again, short-term goal of birthday presents. Christmas, short-term goal of Christmas. RRSP, which is his retirement. RESP, education, and new car. So what is really important to note here, and I'm just going to actually kind of draw that out, is that his savings kind of do match, not kind of, his short and long-term goals. Okay. Those are his short-term goals. These are his long-term goals. Okay. So this is how much he's allocating for each of these at per month. Okay. So Mr. Chen is saying he is going to put $30 away every month for those clothes, $30 a month away for those presents for Christmas. Okay. And sorry, presents. And then Christmas, he's putting away $60 a month. So considering this is March 2015, he's got a few months until that Christmas goal comes out, because Christmas would be in December. Sorry for the messy writing. It's really hard to write online. And so he would have a few months to be putting that away monthly. Okay. So that is important to note, that your savings should always kind of align themselves with the short-term goals and the long-term goals of the budget. Okay? And then he has total savings in a column over here, and disposable income. That is the income that he's left over with. Okay. And sometimes that will be higher some months, sometimes that will be lower some months. And it has to do a lot with what these end up being, those variable expenses. Okay. What they end up being will really affect the disposable income at the end of the month. Okay. So for example, if these end up being a little bit higher, his disposable income is going to be less than $30. Okay. So this is where you kind of have to be careful with your budget. You really need to think about those variable expenses. We can't change the other things, but we can definitely change what we're spending on some of those variables. Okay. So thinking about that, maybe Mr. Chen may want to look into a cheaper cell phone plan so that he has more disposable income at the end of the month. Or maybe he should think about, looking at grocery store ads so that he can get his food down and only shop the specials. Or he might want to, carpool sometimes to cut down on gasoline. Or he may not want to seek as much entertainment. Maybe he wants to skip a movie at the theater and stay home, like so many of us during COVID, and watch it on our televisions. Okay. So that's basically how the budget will work. Okay. So let me just make this smaller for a second. Okay. So this is a complex budget, and if you'd like to, there is more additional information on how to make one in Excel. Okay. And it's right here, this video right here, how to use a spreadsheet program, Excel. It takes you through using spreadsheets on Excel. And they are really important, especially if you are planning on making a career in business. Excel is a pretty used program throughout the business fields, especially in things like accounting. Okay. So this is your budget assignment. You will create a pay stub and simple budget for a month based on a real life job and salary. No, you should use Canadian currency. So you download the assignment, which I will bring up for you in a minute. And this has the scenario salary of a job you need to complete the budget and pay stub. Follow the assignment instructions and fill in your answers. Save the assignment so that you have a copy of your completed assignment. Submit the assignment for marking. If you need help submitting your assignment, please see the Getting Started course for instructions. That course I was telling you about during orientation. What needs to be submitted? A pay stub and calculation of net income, a simple budget, a list of grocery expenses with the research value. So that tells me basically that you know how much the groceries are going to be based on your research of ads, okay, like flyers. If you cannot find any flyers, please let me know and I will point you to some online to help you do this assignment, okay? So let's look at this assignment over here. So this is where you kind of decide what you're going to do. So the entry-level job is either dishwasher, receptionist, grocery store, fast food. So you pick whichever one you want to work with. These are all entry-level positions, and this is what you're going to base your budget on, okay? So you just write down what the job is and the salary is. You don't need to do a budget for each of these careers. I often get asked that. You just pick one. Just pick one, okay? Create a short-term and long-term goal for yourself based on your salary. Explain your goals and why they fit in with your life. Short-term goal, long-term goal. So considering these jobs, what kind of short-term and long-term goals would the person be needing in one of those jobs? So completely creative, okay? Complete the chart below. Monthly gross pay, annual salary divided by 12 months. So you take the salary, whatever you chose, excuse me. So let's say you have chosen dishwasher. You're going to take 20,740 and you're going to multiply that by, divide that by 12, okay, to get your monthly salary. So down here, just give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. When I annotate, it acts a little funny. So you're gonna go down here. 1 second. And you're going to take, my apologies, my computer's acting funny. You're going to take that annual salary. So let's just pretend it's 20,000, okay? And you're gonna divide it by 12. And that is gonna give you your gross pay, okay? So whatever your salary is divided by 12. Now the federal tax is 13%. On my YouTube channel, I have a pretty cool video about multiplying decimals. I will link it. It was actually made for my grade 7A classroom, but I think it would be really helpful for some of you for review, just in case. But you can simply just also type this into a calculator if you want. So basically what we want to know here is the federal tax that they're going to be paying off of their paycheck, okay? So you want to kind of figure that out, and take the monthly and divide it by and multiply it by 0.13. Or you can kind of do it. Yeah, that's the best way you would do it. So let's say you have that $20,000. I'm going to give you an example, and you divide it by 12. Then you're getting 1,666. Okay. 0.67 because you need to round up, okay? So that is your gross pay. And then you need to multiply it by 0.13. And the number I'm getting there is because the federal tax is right here, okay? 13% federal tax. So if we do that, we get $216.67. Again, I'm rounding up because I have to, the calculation is not perfect, so we need to round up. And again, you would do the same thing for EI, you would do the same thing for vacation pay, and the net pay is the number that you started with, your gross pay, and you subtract all of these from your gross pay. And that's how you get your net pay that you're left over with. So you start with your gross pay, you subtract the federal tax amount, you subtract the EI amount, you subtract the vacation amount, and that's what you get for your net pay. Okay, what you're bringing home at the end of the day after everybody has taken the money from you. Okay, just let me erase this so we can keep going. Okay. So you're going to do this on a bi-weekly pay stub, whatever you're doing here, exactly the same way. You're going to think about your monthly budget right here, okay? And this is a sample. It's a suggested monthly budget. You might want to add something differently. You're going to talk about what you would buy for your budget for your food and the cost of it, okay? You're going to think about possible meals you could make. Now, this is where it gets tough, okay? Yeah, sometimes it's hard to think about the kind of meals we would make. So you might want to start with something simple, like, how much would be a chicken, a whole chicken for a family with, some vegetables for a side and maybe some potatoes, something simple like that. Everybody has dietary restrictions. Some families only eat certain things, so you may want to consider that as well. But this is basically up to you. How would you feed yourself as one person, or if you're having a family on this, depending on what you've created in your head, how would you feed your family? So if you need help on this, I am going to link you those links on my YouTube channel that I think might help a lot. Let me just bring it up. So where I've been posting the videos daily is also where I've posted some videos for my intermediate classroom, which I think will help you with this. And one of them is called multiplying decimal points, just in case you're unfamiliar with it. And you can access that from from the homepage, but I will from the channel page, but I will also link this to you in our classroom. And you might want to look at something like, calculating taxes from tax brackets. These may help you a lot just with your math, but if you need math help, I am a big lover of math. So please come to me and I will jump on a call with you one on one and we will go through it. Okay. And that is it from today. Take care of yourselves, guys. Bye.